Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment for NFL Week 3 picks and predictions. Last week was actually a strong week for me straight up. Struggled though against the spread. I was 10-6 straight up, but 1-5 against the spread. Oh, it was bad. And wow, I just had to pick the Titans plus 10, being a homer. And then I just had to pick the over for the 48.5. And of course, it was 48 even. My goodness, you have got to be kidding me. But sometimes that's how it goes. We have got to get better against the spread. Currently 3-8 against the spread. Or am I currently this season? You know, it happens, but wow, we have to do better, and I have some fire coming this week so that I can hopefully do much better when it comes to that number. And with that said, let us begin by doing that. So Thursday night, I got it wrong. I'll be honest. I'm on the record in the ESPN Pigskin League for the Sportsman Entertainment League. I had the Steelers winning. They lost to the Browns, unfortunately. Should have just trusted the Browns at home. So we begin 0-1. But we're going to continue here to the Las Vegas Raiders at the Tennessee Titans. All right. So I wanted to pick the Titans to win. I guess I could say this week, right? It was this week. But last week, week 2 against the Buffalo Bills. I didn't. I wasn't a homer. I really wanted to be Homer Simpson, but I wasn't. Now they face the 0-2 Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm going to be live right after this for my preview of the Titans versus the Raiders. So stick around for that if you're interested in that and an in-depth discussion on that. But what I will say, hold on one second. Sorry, I'm getting a call. What I will say is this. This is why you have to silence your phone when you're live streaming, MJ. Wow, with the injuries that this team is facing, Taylor Warren out for the season, Bud Dupree going to be out for this game. And we already have no Harold Landry, so already the top 2 passers for the Titans, and it's not particularly close, are out already, for this very significant game where you're going to have to slow down the Las Vegas Raiders passing game and attack with Josh McDaniels at the helm, and the Raiders are desperate, and Derrick Henry, as of this moment, is not going. I can't be a homie here, guys. I got to pick the Raiders to win this one in Tennessee. I think it's going to be close. I think we're going to be much more impressive than we were in week 2, which is not impressive at all. But I have to pick the Raiders to win this game in Nashville, very much unfortunately. Next game, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the New England Patriots. All righty. This is a matchup that is always very interesting. But I like what Lamar Jackson's been doing historically against the Patriots, and now there's no Tom Brady there, and I really don't have faith in the Patriots this season, especially their offense. And the Ravens, to me, surprisingly lost last week against Miami. Not too surprisingly, because I was telling people all offseason long that the Dolphins were going to compete this season, and I know this is still shocking to some people because the Bills are all high and mighty, even for the division. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but they're going to compete. They're going to compete. But for this game, I'm going to have the Ravens going to New England and winning. Again, don't have much faith in the Patriots offense or the Ravens coming off a loss in the Lamar Jackson era. Do they normally bounce back? We move on to the Kansas City Chiefs against the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts find themselves in trouble. Man, they stink. The Colts absolutely stink. It's been ridiculous so far. Look, I was expecting disappointment from the Colts this season, but this was even worse than I anticipated. They are absolutely dreadful. Matt Ryan is off to a terrible start this season. I don't know what they're doing. They're absolutely awful. My goodness gracious. And now they host the Chiefs, who are 2-0. Who I have winning the Super Bowl this season. I'm sticking by that. And I like the Chiefs and the points. We're going to discuss that later. You got to go the Chiefs here with the way the Colts are playing. We move on to the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. Mike just cut out. Okay, there he goes back. For this game, you're looking at the Carolina Panthers, who right now stink. I mean, the Panthers stink. And I had some hope for them with Baker Mayfield, showing up to the fray and being quarterback at the helm. But at this point, I just can't have faith in them moving forward. And one of the worst teams in the league. They're just waiting on the day that they Stroud era. Take for Stroud. So the Panthers, I'm taking from here on out after this loss, which I'm sure it will be. And we could just get TJ Stroud and start this thing over again. And I think it's just that time in Carolina. And look, Their roster's not even that bad, but it's bad enough to where you guys can go 3-14. So you might as well and get CJ Stroud. Give me the New Orleans Saints to win this game in Carolina. Next game, we have the Houston Texans against the Chicago Bears. About their Panther friends, you're going to want to do that before the Falcons realize what they got going on and they do the same thing in your division. And you're going to keep wondering for the rest of the 10 years, or the rest of the next 10 years why you didn't do it and they did. So you better do it before they do. All right, we have the Houston Texans against the Chicago Bears. The Bears, look, that's why I told you don't buy into the week 1 performance. Man, their offense stinks. Man, Justin Fields stinks. He stinks. And look, I don't know. I still think it was a good idea overall to draft him because I wasn't a big fan of Trubisky and for good reason. But, man, y'all gave up draft capital and you're going to have to draft the quarterback again. I don't know about y'all, but I'm over it. They do need to put more weapons around him, granted. But right now, they're not doing that. And it's just a terrible situation in Chicago. How they did not add anything offensively this offseason was ridiculous to me. With that said, they are hosting the Texans here. So I'm like caught in between a rock and a hard place because I don't want to pick either one of these teams. With that said, I really wasn't even thinking really hard about this game now before this video, and now I'm live and I'm just like, damn, who do I really want to pick in this one? Jeez Louise. I don't want to pick either one of these teams. Lovie Smith and his return to Chicago. Give me Houston. Let's just do it. Give me Houston to go to Chicago and win. I don't know and I don't care. We move on to the next game. We have the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins, where the Bills have a lot of injuries. And now this is a very intriguing matchup. And people, it's too many injuries for me. No Tre'Davious White. No Jordan Phillips. Who else was recently declared on their defense? Their safety, Micah Hyde, who's out for the season. Those are boom, boom, boom. Dolphins still pretty damn healthy. Offense showing you what they can do. Defense also a little shaky, though. So the Bills are going to score their fair share amount of points. This is going to be a fun one in Miami. Josh Allen has owned Miami, but for too long. Miami has to get a win at some point against the Bills, and I think it's this point. And this is bold, but I think the Dolphins get it done in Miami. They beat the Buffalo Bills. Not saying they're going to win the division. They're going to compete. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but they're going to compete. We move on to the next game. We have the Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. And the Lions had an impressive performance last week against the Washington Commanders. And they showed what their offense can do. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Definitely looking like a very competent wide receiver. I mean, you want to talk about taking receipts. He has his receipts. He knows every wide receiver that was taken before him, and he keeps showing that in every single press conference or interview damn near. I'm going to go with the Lions. I'm going to go with the Vikings here. I'm going to go with the Lions to cover. We're going to talk about that soon, but the Vikings at home should bounce back after what was a lackluster performance against the Eagles. We move on to the next game as we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the New York Jets. And the Jets had a surprising comeback victory last week against the Cleveland Browns. And okay, Robert Salah, I see you and your receipts. And I like you and your receipts right now. But they owe Cincinnati, where Cincinnati is 0-2 and desperate, more desperate than ever. They cannot fall to 0-3. It's very possible. By the way, I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Jets are going to cover here. It's not one of my guarantees, but I think they're going to cover. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Bengals' luck will finally turn around just a little bit. And they're going to get it done here against the New York Jets, but the Bengals are getting exposed against a weak schedule. Look, I had the Bengals going 12-5 this year, not because I thought they're the best team in the AFC, but their schedule is so weak. I mean, they lost week 1 to, who was it they lost week 1 to? Was that, can't even remember anyway. Oh, to Pittsburgh, and then they lost to Dallas without Dak. I mean, that should have been 2-0 easily. Should have been 3-0 here. No questions asked. Very bizarre what's going on in Cincinnati. We move on to the Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Commanders, where the Commanders are showing life with Carson Wentz. Now, they lost last week, but now they host Philadelphia, where Philadelphia is now everyone's sweetheart. People are saying they're the best team in the NFC. They're going to compete for a Super Bowl, potentially win a Super Bowl. Whoa! Whoa! Everybody calm down. Jalen Hurts has improved. He's not a Super Bowl. If Lamar Jackson's not a Super Bowl quarterback, Jalen Hurts is not a Super Bowl quarterback, albeit in a very weak conference because the NFC is very weak. But they still have Miles Sanders at running back, for God's sake. Let's calm ourselves down. And they still have Nick Sirianni as a head coach. I don't want to talk about no Super Bowl yet, unless the NFC is really that weak. My God. This is going to be competitive. And the Commanders are improved. Now, I really wish that Chase Young was available. But he's not. And as a result of that gives me less confidence in the Commanders at home. I just don't see enough defensive juice at this point. The Jaguars are able to move the football. I think the Eagles will as well. I have the Eagles winning this game in Washington. Next game, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Los Angeles Chargers, where apparently, and I don't know how true this is, Justin Herbert may not play. Okay. That concerns me. And without him, I think this might have to be a dependent pick of mine. So very simply, if Herbert plays, I got the Chargers. If he doesn't, do I really want to pick the Jaguars? Because the Chargers backup, who's their backup right now? Let me check. Oh, it's Chase Daniel. Now, I'd have to pick the Jaguars in that circumstance. Not that I don't think it'd be close. I think it'd be close, but I'd pick the Jaguars. So it's just that simple. If Herbert plays Chargers, if he doesn't, Jaguars, I think he matters that much. And I think he really moves the pendulum that much. We move on to the next game. We have the Green Bay Packers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not scoring well at all offensively. Tom Brady's one of the worst fantasy quarterbacks in the league. They're not healthy right now at wide receiver. And is this going to continue? Meanwhile, look across the field. Aaron Rodgers, one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL fantasy right now. I don't have him rostered, but I have Rodgers in one league. I have Brady in one of my more important leagues as a backup, thank the gods. Man, I mean, these two, how the mighty have fallen. These two are supposed to be NFC powerhouses. And look, Tampa Bay is probably going to be 3-0 after this, but it doesn't look like it. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay here just because I know they're going to really stifle that Green Bay offense that is very predictable right now. They're just going to run the football or throw it to the running backs until Christian Watson or any of these other wide receivers, Romeo Doubs, develops and or it gets more comfortable. But there's no Sammy Watkins even in this one. So there's going to be a lot of Allen Lazard who's been out. I got to pick Tampa Bay here. We move on to the next game. We have the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. This game, very interesting as we have the Rams visiting Arizona here. And in my opinion, I would normally pick Arizona to win this just because, look, Arizona, and it was in comeback fashion, but I still think they're a wild card-ish team. And the Rams are not as dominant as I hope they'd be. Well, I don't know if I'd hope. I mean, I have them going back to the Super Bowl, so maybe there's some hope, but outside of that, not really. So I'm feeling upset alert here, but there's still no DeAndre Hopkins. J.J. Watt's been playing better than I anticipated, but the Cardinals have just been too shaky overall for right now in the season and how they're playing. I had to pick the Rams, but obviously Arizona can always win against the Rams here in Arizona. Next game, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Seattle Seahawks, and interesting. Now, the Seahawks in Seattle proved to be quite the test, and we know this quite well. The Falcons, to me, feel like the better team. And, you know, I want to stand for my boy Mariota, but, man, he's making a lot of mistakes. And in Seattle, that's going to cost you because, man, the fans are going to be on his ass. He's going to be getting false starts like he's been doing this season, dropping snaps like he's been doing this season. I expect that to continue. Give me the Seattle Seahawks to win this game in Seattle. The Mariota era might come to an end in Atlanta. We move on to the San Francisco 49ers at the Denver Broncos, where the Broncos got it done last week, but, man, their offense has not improved. Russell Wilson continues to have problems, continues to just not really show that he's that guy for the Broncos yet, and that this offense is going anywhere. Nathaniel Hackett, what a hack indeed, as he has hired this Baltimore Ravens former special teams coach to come in and help the offense and really just help his decision making in general, help him with critical game time decisions. Dude, bruh, all you have to do is play Madden. This guy doesn't know football. It's like he hasn't been around football. He needs help with game time decisions. You should already have coaches for that, by the way. I mean, your coordinator should be experienced coaches that you're already in contact with. You're hiring another coach specifically to helping you with game time decisions. It's nonsensical. It's so crazy, especially only after 2 weeks. How ridiculous in Denver. I got to go with the 49ers right now. The Broncos are just not playing well. Jimmy Garoppolo's back in. Until the Broncos really get their S together, I got to go with the 49ers. We move on to the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants, where the Giants are 2-0. I mean, you got to give the Giants that. They're 2-0. They're playing fine. Look, they beat the Panthers last week, so I don't care. And I think now it's time for the happiness to come to a slight end, as the Cowboys are still talented, and they showed that in their win against the Bengals last week, and Cooper Rush is doing enough. So give me the Cowboys to get it done there. All right, we move on to my guarantees of the week. These are my betting picks of the week, and we begin with the Chiefs -5.5. Again, with the way the Colts are playing, I feel very comfortable saying that the Chiefs are going to go down to Indianapolis, or I guess up for them, and beat the Colts in Indianapolis. So giving the Chiefs -5.5. Ravens -2.5. Again, look, this is damn near a pick 'em. I feel comfortable saying that they're going to beat the Patriots, so not a problem for me. Seattle Seahawks. Wait, I don't know why it says +9.5. I think that's from last week. Did I update that number? I think this is supposed to be a different number. Hold on. What number was it supposed to be? I definitely wasn't taking the Seahawks straight up. I definitely wanted to avoid doing that. I might have to. Oh, this is supposed to be Lions +6. Oh no, this Lions +6 was already have, and then Saints of so Lions +6, which I already have. Basically, I get on that. I think the Lions are going to compete in this divisional contest against the Minnesota Vikings 100%. Saints -2.5. The Panthers stink right now. For comfortable saying that they're going to go and defeat the Panthers even in Carolina. And then my last one, 49ers. 49ers -1.5. Again, with the way the Broncos are playing, I feel very comfortable saying that the 49ers are going to go to Denver and beat the Broncos -1.5. They're the better team absolutely right now, and that's not even including form. If we're thinking about form as well, you got to pack on the 49ers -1.5. So those are my 5 guarantees of the week. And overall, those are my week 3 picks and predictions. What are your picks and predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.